with everybody saying, yeah, 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 yeah? Or is it, all right, all right, all right? These are my assorted thoughts on the January 24th, 2025 WWE Smackdown. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. From Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications to get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, wrestling opinion pieces, WWE Premium Live Event reviews and prediction videos, and assorted thoughts on Raw and SmackDown. Now, I'm recording this the 25th of January. It's just before 6 o'clock, so a little more than 2 hours away from Saturday night's main event. But of course, we're talking about SmackDown last night, and I just got to say it off the start, Tama Tonga's starting to grow on me. Now, when he first came out, I kind of knew Jacob Fatu was supposed to come, so I was like, okay, this is okay. Tonga Loa, I really didn't get, and since then, it's been about Jacob and maybe Solo, although Solo's kind of out of it. Jacob cut a great promo backstage. And then Tama Tonga kind of warmed my heart. He turns to the crowd. He says, with everybody saying, yeah, 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 yeah. Now, obviously not. It just tickled me. That obviously no one's saying that. Obviously that's his thing. And it was just so funny, so good. His match with LA Knight was a good match. I enjoyed it. LA Knight won. That's what makes sense. But of course, I think we're all pretty much aware it was there to set up Braun Strowman coming out to confront Jacob. But also, Jacob attacking LA Knight. Maybe that could be a feud in the future. Maybe for a championship. LA Knight gets the US championship back, or Jacob gets it somehow, and LA Knight's fighting him for it, maybe at WrestleMania. But it's the big man match they're talking about, and that's what this match was designed to promote, but it was still enjoyable to watch. It's not at the level of Jackie Redmond's interview in front of the crowd with CM Punk or any of the people we see during the commercial breaks on Raw. It isn't even of the level of Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett walking into the arena last week. But this week's Joe Tessitore walking in and doing the in-ring interview with Cody Rhodes was still cool. I still liked it. I mean, it wasn't the greatest interview in the world. It was a typical, what you might expect interview with Cody at this stage. Of course, they mentioned the fact that Austin's where Dusty Rhodes is from. It was good. But it was an in-ring interview. It's something we've seen before a number of times over the years, but it's still good that they're changing the format a bit. And of course, this crowd definitely was very happy to see Cody. Of course, the real reason I think for that interview was to set up Kevin Owens coming out later, just chewing out Tessitore, getting in the face of the crowd, and getting in the face of Matthew McConaughey. All right, all right, all right. The second part of my intro. Yeah. I mean, it was fun. It almost looked like they were going to get into a fight. And it's the Longhorns. It's good when the star of this caliber wants to play in the scene. It would have been even funnier if he had just belted Kevin Owens, and someone pulled Owens away right away, so Owens couldn't get him back. But yeah, that's not going to happen because we have Jimmy Uso coming in, clearly showing the Bret Hart jacket that KO's wearing, if anyone had any doubt, if they didn't pick up on that, like I and other people did when he was on Raw talking to Sammy. The main event match the two were in was a good match. Of course, it ended with KO almost giving Jimmy a package pile driver on the announce table to bring out Cody Rhodes. That's how SmackDown went off the air. But in the match, I find it interesting that KO at one point gave Jimmy not the package pile, gave him the Blue Thunder Bomb. A move that only works sometimes when Sami Zayn does it, or rarely, occasionally when Sami Zayn does it. Obviously not going to work for KO, but still it's a sort of bringing that story thread. And they were great at bringing all the story threads. And KO is perfect for all the little subtle references here and there. He did the frog splash last week, did another this week on Jimmy Uso on the ground, that looked rough. And of course, he won. It's building more heat because he has to be a viable opponent for Cody. I don't think he's going to lose until he maybe loses to Cody. Still a good way, a good character developing, story developing way to end the show. I think this transfer window is starting to work out well. I love the fact that Damian Priest is part of SmackDown. I think it's perfect. I mean, it does feel kind of weird that he's not going to be with Rhea, but they needed to separate him from Finn and the rest of the Judgment Day from that story. They need to give him his own stories. The World Heavyweight title picture is currently filled with Jey Uso. I think CM Punk's probably going to be in that soon. Maybe Sami Zayn, other people. I think they need to take Damian away from that scene. His match against Mello Don't Miss all the time, but is missing quite a bit these days, little jab, Was a good match. Obviously, Priest was going to win. Still, Carmelo put on the good show, came really close. And I mean, I think Carmelo's maybe going in other directions. They're not going to keep Damian fighting Carmelo Hayes. In fact, they hinted at maybe him and Cody, who had a lot of matches on Raw, but now Cody's the champion, also a babyface. So that'll be interesting. I think he has a lot more potential working with different people, or mostly different people, on SmackDown. I can't remember where I heard it, but somebody suggested that maybe Rhea Ripley was there because she was giving Damian Priest a lift. They'd always ride together. But yeah, Rhea was on the show, and I was surprised to see her come out because it was Tiffany Stratton doing her bit, and I was like, oh, when I heard Rhea's music, I was like, okay, they're really trying to make Tiffany Stratton a heel. The crowd wants her to be a babyface. How do you make her a heel? Have her go head to head with Rhea Ripley? But no, Rhea was complimentary, just reminding her that she's not the only champion. Although people might be picking Tiffany in the Royal Rumble. Of course, the Royal Rumble winner might just pick Tiffany, and we got a lot of potential Royal Rumble winners here. I think it might be Charlotte Flair, who we saw on the video screen, who's declared, which is cool, but we got, who do we get? Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Well, Candice is not going to be in the Royal Rumble, I don't think, or she hasn't declared yet. She maybe just be helping Nia. But we got Bianca Belair and Naomi. We got Liv Morgan and maybe Raquel Rodriguez. I love how Liv Morgan's just talking and out of nowhere Rhea headbutts her. I think it's like she really loves that move, especially on Liv. Liv, when you're talking on the mic, don't walk too close to Rhea. That's advice. But obviously that was great. Started the big fight. The match was announced during commercial, and it's surprising that I was watching the feed without commercials, and sometimes they actually show what's happening in the ring on Netflix, and they didn't show that. Regardless, on one side we had the Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley and the Women's Tag Champions Bianca Belair and almost said Jade Cargill and Naomi. Well, they're both champions regardless. On the other side we had Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, and Candice LeRae with Raquel on the outside of the ring. Now, this match was interesting, in particular what happened during it. At one point, Liv was really pulling on Bianca's hair. A lot of people do that, trying to use it as a weapon. And the result at the end was Liv rolling up Bianca Belair, surprise roll up 1, 2, 3. And I think this is interesting because, well, it was my theory that it's going to be revealed that Liv and Raquel were the ones who took out Jade Cargill. But that was based on actually my brother's theory, which is my theory, is that they're going towards Liv and Raquel versus Bianca and Naomi, or Bianca and Jade, for the tag titles at WrestleMania. And having this interaction with Liv actually pinning Bianca Belair and interacting with her in the match, I think it's pushing things in that direction. It might come to a head in the Royal Rumble. That's where the feud might start. Also, the Women's Royal Rumble match is looking pretty much as stacked as the men's. Everyone's in it. I'm looking forward to both Rumbles this year. I enjoyed the tag match with Piper Niven and Chelsea Green versus Michin and B-FAB. Of course, Michin ended up pinning Chelsea Green, so that story's not going to go away, or maybe it'll go away if Chelsea beats her on Friday. Again, I was hoping they were moving away from the Michin-Chelsea story, but one more match is good. Maybe going to B-FAB, going to someone else. It was still a good match to watch, and I'm still loving Chelsea's reign as United States champion, especially with Piper being the Secret Service agent. I was kind of pulling for Pretty Deadly in this match against the Motor City Machine Guns. I knew they weren't going to win, and I don't know if this was the announcing that everyone heard, but some of the announcing, or if it's just the announcing we heard during the commercial breaks for the U.S., but especially what Wade Barrett was saying, he was pointing out how Pretty Deadly are taking things more seriously, and they're still silly, but they can be serious in the match, and I kind of want them to get a win. I mean, I know it wasn't going to be against MCMG, and it was a really good match, and they came really close to winning, so hopefully as they're building up this tag team scene, hopefully they're going to make Pretty Deadly more serious competitors. We can only hope. Apollo Crews got a win, and not just against Giovanni Vinci, who would return in the whatever. He got a win in a serious match against Johnny Gargano. Interesting. I don't know how they're going to work him into this picture with DIY. Maybe he needs a new tag team partner. Maybe bring back Baron Corbin, who they released. I don't know. Maybe give him a new partner. Maybe someone who's going to come in. We'll see where that goes. But I definitely think that it's not by chance that he beat Gargano. Just to give him a win, I think they're going to maybe try and put him into the tag picture with a partner. And the Miz bits were funny. The fact that he's on SmackDown, that's interesting. I mean, he's been on Raw for like ever. Maybe maybe they don't really have anyone to put him with. Maybe they're going to put him with some of the people on SmackDown. So not Theory and Waller as buddies because they're over on Raw. But yeah, that's interesting too. I like how this transfer window seems to be taking effect. And I think the Miz could be good on SmackDown. And these were my assorted thoughts on the January 24th, 2025 WWE Smackdown, coming from Austin, Texas. All right. Yeah. Anyway, did you agree with my thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. And of course, make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. I will be back with my review of Saturday night's main event and assorted thoughts on Raw, prediction video for the Royal Rumble, assorted thoughts on Smack. There's a lot coming up. It's Rumble season. It's a busy time. For Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.